Hi everybody. Today I'm making a video just going over the EDTPA and where you begin, literally, right? Some of you guys are, looking to become teachers, and this is a very crucial part of your certification. You might not agree with it, but it is what it is. It's a precedent that's been set. So let's just begin. Where do we begin, right? Some of you guys, this might be the last step of your journey, just getting over the last hump of the EDTPA. Maybe you want to get this done right away. Regardless, you got to know what to look for, what they want, because to the graders, they want to know what are you doing, how are you doing it, and why are you doing it, right? So again, the purpose of the EDTPA is for you to prove to these graders what is effective teaching and can you do it, right? We don't want to keep certifying teachers that come in on the first day and they have no clue what they're doing, right? So as much as you might agree with the EDTPA, disagree with the EDTPA, I do see why it's there and how to kind of weed out the people who are not built for it, right? So the first circle, we look at this golden circle of effective teaching. What do you do, right? What is your lesson about? You move into how do you do what you do? And why do you do what you do? What is the purpose, right? All of that is being assessed by these graders. Okay, why? It's assessing your readiness to teach and examine that you know what it means to be a teacher, all the effective planning, the instruction, and assessment that goes through it. Right? If you look at the little circle chart I have there, right, the first task is your planning. When you are a teacher and you get these observations, right, a big part of the Danielson rubric is, are you planned, right? Do you have the backing? What is your thinking, your rationale? Are you including theories, theorists, ideas, things like that? Next is your actual instruction, right? That's task 2. Um, you want to establish the learning environment. What are the kids like? What is the engagement that's happening? What's that next level of deeper thinking? And are you subject specific, right? Is your pedagogy hitting what you're actually teaching, your content? And then finally, the assessment, right? What are you doing to assess your kids? What sort of feedback are they getting? And how are you supporting students using that sort of feedback, right? And if you look up here, these are the different states that have the EDTPA policy in place. Some of them participating, right, and those that are taking steps, and the ones that aren't. New York, obviously, we have EDTPA in place. So what do you do? Right, task 1 is your planning, right? This is your lesson plan, your scaffolds, your what is the misconceptions from students, your instructional materials, and you kind of comment. It's a commentary. This whole thing is a narrative about what you did, right? So you need to speak in such. Um, Task 2, this is where you record yourself, right? This might be probably the hardest part, seeing yourself teach, right? It's very cringy, but whether it was good, whether it's bad, they're not looking for that. They're looking to see, do you see what we see? What needs to be fixed? What was good? What needs improvement? Are you understanding what happened in your recording? And then task 3, you're evaluating the things you did. You're analyzing the learning that happened among students. You're analyzing the whole class. You use samples. You attach sample work. And then your commentary, right? And you reflect. The EDTPA is a student-centered multiple measure assessment of teaching, right? Teaching is not the planning that we do. It's part of it, but teaching is making sure that students are learning, right? If you can stand up there for like 20 minutes, be recorded. There's no student engagement. There's no student discourse. There's no teacher to student talk. There's no student to student talk. All those things are not seen. Then you're not doing what they want you to do, right? Dr. Stein, in one of my classes, explained to access the EDTPA, making good choices. You can find that on my website. I will show you that in a little bit. But you can just Google EDTPA, making good choices. It'll come up in PDF form. This tells you everything you need to know. Please familiarize yourself with the language of making good choices. They give you the breakdown of each task. What are the points, what to include, what to avoid. The handbooks are in there. And read the glossary. Know the language that you need to use. If you're just talking as if you talk day to day, that's not going to be what they look for. You're going to get very low points. You want to use teacher language. You want to use academic language. Plan ahead, right? If you know you're going to record in a week, a month, A year, maybe you're not ready yet. Get ahead of the game. Plan. What do you want to do? What are some theorists that you like? Get organized. How do you like to teach? What type of resources do you like to use? What type of activities and procedures do you like? Understand the text. I can't stress enough how important it is to know that handbook. And understand the rubrics. I will go over that as well. Read the entire handbook. I'm telling you without a doubt, that is the way to succeed. In your planning task, again, you want to give these teacher-focused words. You want to explain, you want to synthesize, you want to know the skills that they're learning, you want to rationalize your teaching, why you chose to do something. Be very confident about what you do. And explicitly justify why you're doing it, right? It's your lesson. You are the leader of that room. You shouldn't be speaking as if, you're tiptoeing or you're not sure. Your video evidence should hit on the things that the handbook tells you about, right? Your subject-specific requirements. You want to comment on the things that you saw in your recording, and it's very important to timestamp when you speak in your commentary. You want to say at 3 minutes, I instructed students to do this. 17 out of 20 students did this. Blah blah blah. And then finally, you go over everything: your planning, your instruction. Now you focus it on the assessment. Analyze one assessment. Again, you want to have 2 to 3 samples of work. You want to have concrete evidence of this feedback and evidence of your language of the feedback that you gave to your student, right? What did you tell them? Was it useful? Was it meaningful? Do you go back and assess it again? Each part of the commentary, you must answer these prompts. It's better to narrate. You can do bullet form, but when you narrate, it's very easy to focus your thoughts. I believe it has to be within like 8 pages, single space. They tell you based on each plan, each task, but be very specific. Okay. Your written work that you hand in, it's you. Your narrative is you. So they are going to read that and know who you are based on your commentary. Be clear, concise, and convincing. It doesn't need to be the best lesson in the world, but you need to know, and they need to know, that you knew walking in that room, it was clear, concise, and convincing, that you had a goal, whether it worked or not. Okay, how do they assess you? They have rubrics, right? Typically 5 rubrics per task. Each task has about 5 in it, 3 tasks, 15 rubrics, right? You go from level 1, level 5. So let's go and look at those. Okay, so I do want to show you. This is my rubric. Actually, when I did it, I blotted out all the important information, but I actually did not pass this at TPA because this was the first one that I did. I can't find the one that I had for my second one, but it's good to see like what you should have done, right? So each rubric, they give you out of 5. You see for each task your total out of 25 for each task, and then your final score at the bottom. Okay, so my average score is a 2.53. I do not believe that was passing. For each rubric, though, they tell you what you did. Right, in rubric 1, the candidates plan for instructions, build on each other to support student learning of facts with clear connections to concepts, inquiry, interpretations, analysis, and building arguments and conclusions. Read each rubric, right? This I have available on my website as well. I'll show you how to get there in a second. But they let me know exactly what I did and what they saw. They saw that I only analyzed one language demand. Even though I wrote it like in 5 different ways, that was still only assessing one language demand. Each rubric, they go through it. They tell me what I did. They honestly don't even tell me what I didn't do. They just tell me what I did do. And though that's good, it doesn't really give you the feedback of how you need to do it better. But if you look at mine, they'll tell you what you did. And each rubric is a specific title, right? Planning for history, social studies, because I did one for social studies. Identifying the supporting language demands, right? You want to make sure you do all of these things. They're so clear. It's just, sometimes we rush, sometimes we overlook. Please go through every rubric so you know exactly what you need to do. To find that, if you have any more questions, you can go to my website. Let me go into the view mode. So when you do go into my website, you have it right here. Here's the rubric link. It opens it up. You can read each part. But again, using that handbook is so important. How I do have it here somewhere. Making good choices. Here you go. I'm not going to go through it in great length. That is up to you to do. But if you go through each task, they give you the rubric, what you need to do. I'm telling you, this is the holy book of the EDTPA. It tells you everything you need to know. So what are your next steps, right? Now you've watched this video. You don't know what to do next. You kind of understand. I'm going to read the handbook. Read that handbook. Okay? Communicate with your teachers, your professors. Ask them, what if this lesson is okay. Make sure you get consent of the students, right? You can't record any of these things without consent. Permission slip, they provide those things as well. And then decide how you will record your teaching. It's okay to practice 3, 4, 5 times. But if you get it done on the first try, power to you. But yeah, it's very important to practice, read the handbook, and study the rubrics. Okay. If you do have any questions, you can reach out to me on my website. I believe my email address is there. But good luck. The EDTPA is definitely a grind. But once you finish it, there's no looking back. And hopefully that is the final step into your teaching certification, and you're out there before you know it. Okay. And before you know it, the EDTPA is what you do every day. Okay. And it does become second nature. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop a like, subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.